episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. I am Stretch, yours truly, your 6'6" phenomenon. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Here we go. Which member of Migos did not have a verse on their song Bad and Bougie?
No idea.
Come on.
I have no idea. I know the Migos had a song called Tasty. Stir Fry.
All right. Just like Shalimar once famously sang, second time around, because we are back for a second time. How you feel, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you, first and foremost. And apologies for the snafu. Technically, that was all on me. You know, I'm still learning StreamYard, and I accidentally had my YouTube open, so that's where I'm hearing the feedback. And instantaneously, I was ready to blame Ashley. So Ashley,
I'm innocent.
All love, man. Welcome, and thank you all for being here with us tonight. It is the last day of Women's History Month, and what better way to celebrate not only women's history, but also for the resurrection of Dope Chats with Stretch. That is I, yours truly, Stretch, a 6'6" phenomenon, on this joyous Wednesday night, man. And I am super excited to have my guest tonight. She is a bona fide boss, and I mean that with all sincerity. You know what I'm saying? She is a native of Los Angeles, a lover of all things of the written word, and she is the founder, the CEO of ReadHer. And I'm going to let her tell us more about ReadHer when we get into it. But I would love for you all to please show some love and give it up for Miss Ashley Barton. Three cheers for Ashley. What's going on? How you feel?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your patience, first and foremost. And
not a problem.
Yeah, thank you for doing it. Because we were just sitting back, just cutting up backstage. I'm like, yo, technical difficulty. I was saying it was like the ghost of IG, because I was doing these on IG and I was just so fed up with just IG. I was like, I can't do it anymore. And so I guess IG was like, yeah, I got something for you.
It'll follow.
So what's going on? How have you been? And first and foremost, happy Women's History Month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Things are good. I'm actually in LA right now. I'm at my mom's house, and it's about 88 degrees today, so it is very hot. But you know, I always say in LA, Southern California, we pay for the weather. So if you too would like 88 degrees in March, move to LA.
Yeah, I was hating on you for a second. That's why I gave you that smug look.
Yeah. I'm like, move here. You can live here. Hey.
No, I lived in LA for 5 years.
I'm just saying. A lot of people are always like, oh man, like I wish I'm like, well, pay. If you pay for it, you too can have.
Yes, you too can have all the amenities that LA brings. That's what's up.
Yep.
So let's get into it. ReadHer. How did it come about, and what made you start ReadHer?
Yeah, so it's so funny. It's actually pronounced reader. The H is silent.
Fancy.
Right? It's the H is like, silent, whatever accent of it.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so the idea for ReadHer came about this time last year during the pandemic. I was probably sitting where I'm at right now because I was quarantined at my mom's house. And I was looking online and I saw a book subscription box. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, I love to read. I read all the time. I have a book blog. I'm on IG. I got a little book thing going. So I went and I was like looking through the books that they had offered. And they just weren't really diverse. They were just not hitting anything. And so usually, when we go into a space where we don't find ourselves seen or included or a part of whatever conversation or the audience, usually we just be like, oh, well, as usual. But for this time, for me, I was just kind of like, why don't I do a box? Like, why don't I just make a box? Like, I'm perfectly capable of doing it. I have, I have the skill set to do it. I have the passion to do it. So why not? So, it took a couple of months of just, doing that self work, because I've never ran a business, but I'm a director of a student center at a university, a Black student center. So I know what it's like to go from like bootstrapping it from like, there's a room, make something happen, like, oh, you're like, shoot, what gonna, so I'm like, I had that experience of doing that, but of running a business per se, where it's like my own money, my own investment, that sort of thing, that was definitely a very different move. So, but yeah, I was definitely really, really excited about the idea of creating a subscription box like this for women. Obviously, I always say my center is Black women, but it's created for all women, because the stories in the box are indie Black romance. So indie is independently published authors, and my genre of passion, as I call it, is Black romance. So, some of the books, I think, these aren't books that you just go in a bookstore and find very easily. So that's what makes it really special. And the things that we put inside of the box are really catered towards making your reading experience feel a little bit, elevated, a little bit more fun. So that's how I came up with it.
That's what's up. And I mean, kudos to you for even, bringing and having that idea and bringing it to fruition, especially for a lot of authors and especially independent authors out there who their genre is telling the Black story, especially Black romance, such as myself. You know what I'm saying? How has the reception been thus far since you started ReadHer?
Yeah, it's been really good. It was one of those, I think at every point it's been a stressful moment of just like, it's not so much of lacking confidence. Like, it's like, I know it's good, but do people know it's good, And it's definitely been something that's been really well received at every step of the way, like connecting with potential customers. They've been positive about it, fellow readers. Connecting with the authors, they've been super positive about it. So it's just really the, what I call the business part of it that's been the most challenging. Like, the post office isn't my friend, things getting delivered on time, those are the hurdles. But the creativity part has all been pretty easy, pretty natural, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah.
So tell me, why is it important for you to be that conduit to your customers to really put forth Black stories?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I think we all have a purpose, right? And sometimes it can be very challenging to find your purpose, but I think for some, we have a general idea of what our purpose looks like. And for me, it has been centered on the Black experience, the Black story, Black success, Black excellence. And, a lot of the stuff that I've done professionally in my work, I got a doctorate. My dissertation was on Black student success. So it's really been around that. But I've always been a fan of just books and reading. Like, my whole family will tell you, like, this is completely a perfect fit for her, because reading has always been my thing. But I felt like I was in this space of like being such a hardcore like Black romance reader, reading all these phenomenal authors, and then I would read other stories, even other stories by Black authors that were mainstream, and I would feel like, did you read these stories by these other authors who are phenomenal? So I felt like it was a space that people weren't talking about enough outside of the bubble. But like, if you're in the bubble, you totally understand it. You're a fan, you're passionate, you're obsessed. But for the people who are not in the bubble of either being readers or being readers of Black stories, it felt like it was just passing them by. So for me, this felt like such a great opportunity to, not only because I'm a well-read reader, I'm an avid reader all the time, I read tons of books, but I'm also a person who I think can bring this to the people. So I felt, I wasn't going to wait on somebody else to do it when I felt like I could do it.
And I think it's very important. And again, man, kudos to you for making this happen, because you have a lot of independent authors out there who are struggling in the sense of trying to find their audience, find their
Mm-hmm.
file. You know, everybody, quote unquote, I wrote this, I wrote that. But again, it's all about quality. You know what I mean? Because I know when I wrote my book, it's a story that meant a lot to me because, you know, it's actually loosely based off of me. But getting and getting that reception or getting it out there to the people that I know who will be more receiving of it has been a struggle. Like, I know radio, you know, I'm a radio person. So, going from radio to becoming now an author is totally two different things. So having someone like yourself to work with, or, you know, at least be in your corner to help push your product to folks that you know that will receive it and welcome it is a good thing. With ReadHer and within the box, like, what do, if for folks out there right now who are saying, okay, I want to become a part of the subscription box, what is it that they look forward to getting when they receive a box from you?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think makes ReadHer special is that it's a mystery box. So there's some boxes where you will get, you know, a picture, it'll be all online, it'll tell you exactly what's coming, you will know. Right. But for me, I'm the person who, you know, I waited till Christmas to open up my gifts. I waited till my birthday to open up stuff. I like to wait because I like the surprise element.
The anticipation.
The anticipation, it just builds it up, you know? So definitely within each ReadHer box, you'll get a book by a Black author, and then about 3 to 5 additional items that are really either themed based or really about either book based or something of that sort. So for our first box, the books that we actually added a bonus book. So the book was The Single Life of Zola Patterson by Daniel Allen. And so we had the first part 1, and we added part 2 as a special bonus, the first one. We also had a custom bookmark. So all the bookmarks had each of our readers' names on them, which they fell in love with, because especially for people who have less traditionally spelled names, right. You know, they can't go to the store at Disneyland and be like, oh, here's a mug with my name on it, you know. So I think that they really love that. Right. So we had custom book sleeves, and we had a whole bunch of snacks. We had like popcorn and candy and chocolate, because, you know, readers, we busy snacking. And that's one of our things.
We're gonna talk about that.
Right. We love to snack. And then we had, let me see, was that card? Oh, we had like a face mask as well. So that's just kind of like an idea of like some of the stuff that we include in it. We always have something that we consider like a larger item, right, to make sure that people feel like, oh, value for what they've invested in it. But it's really about creating like a literary experience, you know. So it's about making you feel joy, excited, happy, you know, giving you things that make you feel good. So that's always the goal. Like, you know, even it's funny, we had a candy, like those jelly candies with the sugar on them, the Sun Kiss candies. Yeah. So we put those in there, right? And I remember one girl, she opened it up and she's like, you know what? I actually don't even like these candies, but my grandmother loved these candies, you know? And so she's like, this just makes me feel like this box is meant for me, because she's like, I haven't seen these in a minute. Like it spoke to me of like that connection of like someone who I care for a lot. And it's just one of those things where you're going to have those moments of like, a person's going to see a bookmark and it has their name on it, and they're like, I never get anything with my name on it. You know, they get their book sleeve and it's like, what? I didn't even think that this would be something like I would need, but I do need it. So it's just about that type of stuff.
And it's dope because you're creating an experience that they'll have forever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Connection that ReadHer had with her Nana. You know what I'm saying? Nana liked that candy, so you know.
Right? It just brought it back when she was like,
that it is. Like, it is.
Out of all the things in this box, like this, I wasn't ready for that. So yeah.
Nana said, "Baby, bring me that candy."
Right? She was like, "This is wild." Like I never. Yeah, plenty of people are like, my kids ate all my snacks, so that was great because they got something, I got something. So it's one of those things. Yeah.
So how does an author go about getting the opportunity rather to be featured in your box?
Yeah. So one of the main things about ReadHer is that we're sharing Black stories. And so a part of that Black story is through the lens of romance. So two people being able to come together, find love, passion. It doesn't always have to end happily ever after, but there has to be a positive experience there somewhere. And so one of the things that when people who would like to be a part of ReadHer, it is your story or is your book telling a story that is sharing Black stories. Is it positive? Is it and not necessarily positive in a way of like, we wouldn't have an urban fiction book or we wouldn't have street lit or there couldn't be a triggering situation. Not like that, but positive in the sense that it uplifts, you know?
Right.
You know, is it a story that you feel would be a good fit for the women audience that we serve? Because that's also a thing to really consider. Who are the people who are opening up these boxes? So there is a tab on my website, readerbookbox.com, that's specifically for authors to kind of ask themselves those processing questions. Because I know there's a lot of people who are independently published authors, and you know everything's about being a good fit. So if you feel that you're a good fit for it, like go on ahead and send us a copy of your book, and we'll be able to check it out.
That's what's up. We got a question. My good friend Granika Williams wants to know, how can we purchase the box?
Yeah, so ReadHer is a subscription box, and so it's kind of like, I call it like a gym membership or like Netflix. You can pay as you go, or you can pay a whole chunk ahead. You get a small discount when you prepay. And so the idea is like, prepay, hey, we take those. And so we're a bi-monthly box for right now. And so you prepay, basically you pay the month prior if you do month to month. And you go to our website and it has all the directions. So your subscription will just keep you signed up until you decide to skip, pause, or cancel. And so, yeah, it's a pretty simple process. I encourage people to sign up on our newsletter too, because that's where we send like coupons or any bonuses and stuff like that.
So since the launch of ReadHer, how many, or I should say, what books or what authors have you featured thus far?
Yeah, so we've only had one box. So yeah, I know we're brand new, super brand new. So Danielle Allen was actually our first featured author for ReadHer. I actually just did an IG Live interview with her last Friday, which was super awesome. It's on my page right now if anyone wants to check it out. But she's our first author. She's written easily over 30 books.
Wow.
And so that's one of the things, the cool things about the authors that I've pre-connected with for ReadHer is that there are authors who I've read plenty of books by. There are authors that are pretty, that I think are part of the indie Black romance community. So that's one of the things that makes it feel really special because, like I said, these aren't books that you necessarily could go to a Borders or a Barnes and Noble and just like pick up their books right off the shelf because, they don't have that many Black stories on the shelves.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. So so I don't want to say who the authors will be in the future because, the business side changes up stuff. But I think that one of the things that folks can anticipate is that the authors will be, if they're authors, they'll either be authors that they know already, so well-known authors, or there'll be a new author. However, the book they don't have to worry about the book being good because we'll definitely pre-read it and we'll definitely use our discernment to make sure it's an excellent story for the readers. So
I got somebody in mind.
Okay.
Wink. Oh man.
I would say Sharon is caring. Sharon is caring.
Yay. Hey, Sharon is caring. And I you got that right. So, it's funny because a lot of times when we think about like our favorite books and, especially from Black authors, and we want to see these books turn into films. And sometimes the film necessarily doesn't live up to the book. What are some of the books you read that you felt like, movie sucked, book way better?
Okay, so these, unfortunately, they're not Black stories.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Definitely Twilight was trash as a movie. What's the other one? That's the first one that every time I'm like triggered. I'm like, because I love those books. I was like, they're so good. And then I get the movie and I'm like,
anybody mentions the word Twilight,
right? It's like the movie comes out and I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Oh,
you know what? Which one I heard a lot of people say they hated was True to the Game. I never read the book True to the Game, but I saw the movie and I was like, well, it's fine. But the consensus is that people hated the movie version of it. They were like, you should have left it alone. Don't bother it. It was perfectly fine. So that's one that I think was not, that I heard is not a good adaptation. And then, I mean, when you think of like Hunger Games, I thought Hunger Games was pretty cool, but the book was way darker and way more gruesome than the movie portrayed it to be. I actually did like Harry Potter. But the reason I think I liked it was because I forgot the details. So the movie felt perfectly fine, but there's a lot of people who didn't care for the movie either. That's the one thing. When you forget the details of the book, you watch the movie, you're like, oh, this is fine. But when you remember, you be like, this is trash. You should have left my book alone. You shouldn't even have done this.
Right.
Stuff like that. So yeah, for the most part, I think that movies don't do most books justice when it comes to the adaptations. So I think sometimes it's better for it to be like a TV series versus an actual movie, because the authors put so much details and information into the books that movies can capture it in 2 hours.
Right, right. And then what the funny thing, like especially now after I've written my book, and the amount of detail that I put in there is like I vividly can see it. I would love for it to be turned into either something on the small screen or the big screen. But gotta capture everything that I put in there.
Yeah.
And then, like, as a writer, like personally, even when I went through the process of having my editor go through and edit, I was like hot. I get livid because I'm like, don't take that out. I'm like, but I had to like let the ego go a little bit. Watch the story kind of grow. And I think that a lot of times when you have certain books that turn into adaptations of movies, because like for instance, with Alice Walker's The Color Purple, they didn't really go into all the nuances of The Color Purple after, between with Mr. and Celie, because they ended up becoming, you know what I'm saying? After all that stuff. So
it's funny because I never read. So one of my things is if I see the movie, I don't go back and read the book. Like, I don't know why. I just feel like, especially if I like the movie, I'm like, so we're just gonna leave it as is. But my cousin was obsessed with The Color Purple, watched it 1,000,001 times, finally read the book, and she's like, the movie missed this and missed that and missed this. And I was like, see, that's why you don't go back to read the book after you watch the movie. Like, yes.
But so let's talk about your IG live show, Reader's Delight.
Yeah.
And Reader's Delight. So what made you come up with Reader's Delight? Is that a spinoff of Rapper's Delight?
Well, low-key, yes, but no. Yeah. Right? I know, right? What you hear is not a sense. Right? I mean, it's definitely yes. It's also like Reader's Digest. So it's a combination of like a Black version of, the Black part of Rapper's Delight and then Reader's Digest. So married together.
That's what's up. My name is Wanda Ash. I like. There you go.
So Reader's Delight came. So one of my main things about even coming up with my IG platform, even before learning about Bookstagram or Book Twitter or whatever, it's all these things like BookTube, was really about connecting with other people to talk about books.
Right.
And my family, they all claim to read, but they're not readers like me. It's one of those, you're like, I'll read, and you're like, you do. What's the last book you read? Ooh,
baby, I read the TV Guide.
Right, like what's the last book you read, huh? So my thing, I wanted to find more people that I could talk about these books with. Because it's one thing when you read something great and you're like, oh my, well, shoot, ain't nobody else here. Like, so I wanted that, that was my main purpose.
That's what's
So
up.
when, the pandemic started and, we're all stuck at home and, everybody, I saw people going IG live and I'm like, man, I should try this out. Because on my personal Instagram, I was always on there on the video, just holding up my phone all the time. Like, hey y'all, just talking into, people were like, this is so funny, you're so hilarious, all that other stuff. And so when my platform was kind of, building up a little bit, I started the year with 2020 with like 600 people, and I was just like, oh my God, there's like 700 people now. Someone will pop into my IG, and, let's see who shows up. So I just, posted and said, hey, we're going to come on. And I didn't even call it Reader's Delight for like a couple of months. It was just like live at 5, or come, let's chat at 5 or whatever. It was just like that type of thing. But the idea really came about, talking about the books that I was reading, engaging with other people outside of my DMs, and really just being like, hey, this is what's up. This is what I'm reading this week. What are y'all reading this week? And just, spilling some tea, on what's going on and being very frank and very honest. And people, they like it. They come every week. There's never been a week where I had to cancel because nobody was there. Right. So that always feels really good. But yeah, the idea is really just connecting with the audience, connecting with people to talk more about books. And, yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. And I think because of that, the spinoff of the Black Romance Book Club also is another thing. So it's really just about connecting with people, having conversations about the books that we're reading, getting suggestions and advice and information about what's my next read. And it's so funny because I'll be on Reader's Delight and someone will be like, have you read such and such? And I'm like, no. What is it? I'm like, what's that book again? And I think that's made it up.
You have to crash Reader's Delight one day and get up
Absolutely.
in there.
Come through, and it's fun. I feel like I get to meet a lot of people through that. So it's a lot of fun.
Have you thought about taking that? And are you on the Clubhouse craze right now?
So I'm okay. I got in Clubhouse pretty early, I would consider. I think I got in Clubhouse like October.
Okay.
So there wasn't a lot of people still on it. It was a lot of music people at that time. Mm-hmm. So I was like, but there is a group on Clubhouse. They're really tough on Clubhouse. The Midnight Mafia. Shout out to the Midnight Mafia. And they do a lot of activities every single day. Mm. So it kind of feels like they have a stronghold on that lane. And I've done a couple of things on Clubhouse before, but I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's better used to support a group of Black women who are doing really great on the app versus being like, me too, So for right now, I'm like, y'all don't need me on there.
Yeah, I did. It's funny because I like, with the lane of being in entertainment as far as like Radio List Live folks and music that I'm friends with and been in rooms with them. But then also I'm like, oh, snap, all these authors and indie authors and these, readers are out here. So I kind of things with a few of my friends around Valentine's Day where we did a room where we read pieces from our book, but one was marrying songs that went along with the actual piece that we were all reading. So each person had a song that kind of described the scene. So it was pretty dope. But I am Clubhouse out. I'm Clubhouse.
It takes up a lot of hours, man. I've definitely been late. I'm like, I can't go back. I have to prepare everything before I'm like, all right, let's go into Clubhouse. Like,
because
it's a lot.
It is a lot. And it gets very, I'm like, sometimes I'm just an avid listener because I'm y'all some messed up individuals. But I digress. But another thing I love about them is that they have this really good vegan community. I'm a vegan, and I love that, and I know you have a love for vegan desserts. What What spawned the love for vegan dessert?
It's honestly like, so I have a lot of food allergies,
Oh,
and the vegan desserts are like the things holding me together. Like it's so I'll share two of them. It's only four, but people get freaked out when I tell them my food allergies. So I'll share the two main ones, which is dairy and eggs, right? So
okay.
people are like, oh my God, you can't have a glass of milk? No. You can have ice cream? No. You can't have cake? No. Like, I can't have these things. But now there's way a much bigger vegan community than there was 10 years ago. Because I haven't had dairy in like over 15 years. Like I haven't had any animal product. Well, so I do eat meat, but the byproduct, I haven't had any byproduct in like 15 years, 16 years probably now.
Right.
So the ginger vegan cookies from Whole Foods, I don't know if everybody's Whole Foods got them. They are fire. The vegan donuts at Whole Foods are bomb.
Whole Foods is off the chain. And the only Whole Foods that sells those vegan donuts in this area is the ones in DC. Everyone's I go in Maryland. I'm like, yo, where's the vegan donuts? Oh, we don't have them. I'm like, gotta go to DC and get vegan donuts.
Trash. Yeah, it's the thing is, it's funny because for my birthday year before last, we went to a vegan street fair. Because like I could be vegan. I honestly could be. Like I would have to put in a little bit more work. I'm halfway there. You know what I mean? I'm halfway there. I be thinking like, if I could stop having this chicken and beef, I'll be there.
Hey, let me tell you, get it together.
Could. We'll see. We'll have to try it out. I've tried it a couple of times. I've done it like a month or no meat. I've done, because I already can't have milk or eggs. Okay, let me tell you all my allergies.
I want to know the others.
Okay, so it's dairy, seafood, eggs, and nuts. Right? They cannot be an ingredient of any kind. So you can't just say, oh, you can have milk. You can't have milk, but you can have cake. No, it cannot be an ingredient.
Right.
So very, very strict on that. Completely absent from my diet. So that's why if I just didn't have meat, I could do it. I could do it.
So you really have to pay attention to the packaging because a lot of things that are, for the most part, processed or made.
Yeah.
They're in the same facilities that contain things of that nature. So
yeah. So that's why even for ReadHer, like, our first box, my mom was like, let's add chocolate because we were having delays in shipping. And she was just like, let's just add something else for the people, She's like, people like chocolate, right? Because we actually don't even eat chocolate. So that's another thing. But the snacks that I put in there are vegan snacks as well. People don't know it's vegan, but they vegan. So right now, surprise, vegan snacks. Like this popcorn is bam. Vegan.
It's vegan for me. Get this out of here. Get it out of here.
Right? Vegan, right?
Man, that's dope.
But yeah. So it's like I went to a vegan street fair with my mom, and I remember she got a burger because my mom is definitely not vegan. Like she loves dairy. Like that is her number one. And she said she had the burger she had there. She said was the best burger she's had in her life. Period.
Wow.
This did not have no meat, like vegan cheese. And she was like, I was like, the best vegan burger. She's like, no, the best burger. Period. Like period. Yeah. So
I'm telling you, you'd be quite surprised on the food that is made from plants that just kind of like take you on a whimsical journey into veganism.
Yep.
So, but it's funny because I put a lot of I do a lot of like cooking videos from time to time. And my IG, they call it Chefing It Up with Stretch, and I love it. I love it because I just want to share. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's an opportunity for people to kind of have an alternative outside of and don't get me. I don't browbeat people and be like, oh, you got to stop eating
No.
meat. Blah, blah, blah. My journey, what I do for me, and what you do is what you do for you. But I still like to just share. That's all.
Absolutely. Yeah. I tell people, I'm like, look, let's be real. That stuff is not good for you. Like, it's the milk from a cow. We're the only species that does it. But you know what? Do you? You?
That's it. Well, that's all you. That's all you.
Yeah.
Yo, you are tuned in to Dope Chats with Stretch. I am your host, Stretch, along with my guest tonight, the CEO and founder of ReadHer. Her name is Ashley Barton, and we're just here chopping it up. And Ashley, so for those folks out there who are watching or who are listening, how can they get in contact with you on your socials? So how can they follow you?
Yeah. So if you want to follow me, my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is Ash Reads Books. With the exception of Instagram, it's underscore, but everywhere else, Ash Reads Books. And so you can find me on there. It's on Instagram, which is like my main place, Ash Reads Books underscore. If you want to check us out for ReadHer, it's ReadHer Book Box on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. So we're pretty easily found. So definitely connect with us, connect with me. If you want to get into reading more books, the Black Romance Book Club is definitely a space. We encourage, primarily it's women's space, so, for the ladies. But we read 2 books a month, Black romance for sure. So I always have to remind people that IR is not Black. So just, Black romance.
So wait a minute. What's that last part you said? What's not Black?
So IR, which is interracial,
is
not. It's not Black romance. People get it confused because it's a Black person, but I'm like, it's not Black romance there's a non-Black person.
Right, right. Schematics, folks. Schematics.
I'm here to help.
Preach and teach, sister. Preach and teach.
Yeah, it happens often. So I'm just like, it's Black, not IR.
Right.
And IR does not mean Black. It can be Asian and white. So there's a lot of other mixes that could happen.
That's right. I'm with you on that one. So do the book clubs, or you do your book club rather. Do you all meet and virtually and have discussion, or how does that all go about?
So we meet every other week, and we meet via Zoom. So we're all across the country, to be honest. We even have somebody who's in Jamaica. From the islands. So she's tuning in. So we are so one thing I want to preface is that you don't have to be Black to be in the Black Romance Book Club. It's not a Black women Black Romance Book Club. Right. But you will be reading Black romance in the book club. So everybody's welcome. Well, I'll say this: women are welcome because we're all women, and it's really discussion open. I know it's open discussion. It feels safe space for us. Safe space for us. Look, no, we don't have any dudes in the group. But I have thought of having, sometimes we have a lot of discussions on relationships and stuff like that. So I've always had this, I have wanted to do not a battle of the sexes, but maybe a chat of the sexes, discussion of the sexes, whatever, to really talk about the complexities of relationships between men and women.
Dope.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. I don't have a strong male audience. So my analytics says I got 90% women followers. So I'm like,
Well, shout out to all the ladies out there watching tonight.
Shout out to my ladies holding me down, because y'all the realest. Because the fellas ain't showing up. The fellas ain't following me.
We want to get some fellas to show up and follow. All
right.
You know how Chris Rock said.
What did he say?
I don't want to say the word because you if you ever want to hide your money from somebody, put it in the book because
Oh, I know. It's so sad. It's so sad. But definitely, I definitely want to have some of those like I said, relationship talks. I think we're all into, even married people, single people. We all into the conversation. So I'd be down. We'll see one day. Maybe.
So look, It is that time of the night. Well, that we play a game.
Okay. It's still daytime for me, but we
yeah. Don't rub it in. Please don't rub it in. All right. I miss living in LA. Quick story before we get into the game. I remember my first year living in LA, and I didn't go home for Christmas. And I just happened to call my mom. I'm like, and call my parents and wish them, Merry Christmas. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's like 93 degrees. And I felt so weird. I was like, yo, what the hell is going on here? This is the apocalypse. How is it warm? But it is. Nonetheless, I digress. I enjoyed my time in LA, and I also lived in the area too. So,
okay.
So this is a game we like to call Hat of Questions.
Oh Lord.
So
I reserve the right to refuse to answer any questions. FYI.
It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. So in the hat of random questions, I don't know. Well, I kind of do know, but I don't know what I'm gonna pick. So there could be music-related questions, trivia questions, relationship questions, or a nice game I like to play that we all play called Black Card Revoked. So, yeah, get ready. Get ready. So, here we go. This question is whatever you find that you think is the right answer. Majority rules. Majority rules. What can you find in almost every hood? A Baptist church. B, a furniture rental store. C, a corner store. Or D, a Wingstop.
I want to say all of the above.
Like I said, majority rules. Whatever you say.
All of the above.
All of the above. All right, here we go. We want to do one more.
Okay.
You better pray, sister. Pray, sister. Oh, here we go. This is from the game Cuff. Shout out to my man Barnes. How long is too long to be engaged?
I want to say anything over a year and a half is too long.
Yeah,
it's too long. Why are we still? What are we waiting for? Like, let's just go to the courthouse, hop on over to Vegas, and then we can have a big wedding if we want to. Or why are we doing this year and a half long engagement? That's too long.
You all about the jagged edge. We ain't getting no. We ain't
that.
We might as well do that.
What are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? So I'm single, but I'm like, if I were in a relationship and we get engaged today, 2021, and we're not getting married until 2023, what the hell is that? That's too no.
I know people who engaged for like 6 years.
First of all, stop. You're not engaged. You're just still together. Okay. Let's be clear. You're not engaged. That's your boyfriend. That's your girlfriend. You're not engaged.
You already in a common law marriage as it is right there.
Basically. I mean, this is my partner. That's it. You're not engaged. Because engagement is a short period of time. Fiance is not forever. So don't come at me with we about to be engaged 5 years. Don't do that. Ladies, run. Don't do that.
Let's get married.
One. He's fake locking you down, keeping you from your blessings. Run, ladies, run.
No doubt. Oh man, want to do one more? Let's do one more.
Yeah, let's do one more.
It's the hat of questions. I'm gonna work on getting sound effects, but that's what we do around here. All right.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's the hat of questions, and here we go. Answer the question. This is also a majority rule, so whatever. Where can you find the best celebrity tea and gossip on social media? Is it Gossip, YBF, Shade Room, or Baller Alert? Which one do you go to?
Man, okay. So if you were from my generation, you would say the YBF, but let's be real, they've fallen off a bit, so it is the Shade Room.
The Shade Room,
The Shade Room come with the fire every single day, multiple times a day.
Right.
It's the Shade Room. It's the Shade Room. I actually met the founder of the Shade Room.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So she was friends with a student of mine at my job, and so she invited her to our campus to do like a talk.
Oh, that's
And
dope.
she came through. Yeah. So she's definitely a very like earnest, hardworking person. Like I know people be like, the Shade Room messy, but I'm like, well, behind the mess, there's a strong Black woman who's coming at y'all. Is she what?
Is she a millennial?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's dope.
So yeah, you got a strong sister back there who's putting in work, who is, bringing us the tea. So
yeah. When like for me and my generation, we had, of course, like Media Takeout and my homegirl Nicole Bitchy. Like back in the day. Well, not back in the day, still prevalent, but Media Takeout. They need to do some spell. They need to do some spell check.
Media Takeout was so wild, but I still kept going back.
Right.
I would be like, ooh, Media Takeout. I don't hit tap it all the way. ME, boop, it pops up.
Right.
So, but Nicole Bitchy was really cool too, though. I really liked her website too. I mean, I get the repurposing of it and her finding new passion, but I did like it. I can't find like I didn't.
No doubt. Well, again, I want to say thank you first and foremost for guests on Dope Chats as we venture into this StreamYard world. Thank you for being patient because I flubbed it the first go around. Again, happy Women's History Month to you. And
thank you.
Secondly, congratulations to launching ReadHer. I have tremendous success with this venture, and I know that the subscriptions are going to go pew, 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 sky high. You know what I'm saying? And again, everyone, this is Ashley Barton. She is the founder and CEO of ReadHer. And you need to follow her right now. Get all up in that subscription box because she is lacing you all, ladies and fellas.
Hey, makes a good gift. Makes a good gift.
Good gift, you know what I'm saying? If you're trying to get in good with your girl, you didn't messed up because you don't answer your phone after 2:00 in the morning, or you stuck drunk at 5. You go get your girl a nice book, so that'll hold her attention while you out there doing your debauchery. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's a gift from the heart.
It's a gift from the heart. Here, read it. Not here to do other things. That's what's up. But let everyone know where they can find you, how they can follow you, and how they can get down with everything that you got going on.
Yeah, so find me on IG. So if you want to find me, @AshReadsBooks_ on IG. If you want to find ReadHer, it's ReadHer BookBox on IG, Instagram, Twitter, all that other stuff, all the platforms. So yeah, find us on there. We're there all the time. I got my phone. I literally got my phone with me right here. So
There it is.
Stay ready.
And so again, Ashley, thank you again for hanging out with me tonight. This was such a blast, and I look forward to connecting with you very soon. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your night, baby girl. And remember, don't eat nothing with no nuts, okay?
Dairy, seafood, eggs, and nuts. Okay. Bye, y'all.
All right, man. Have a good one, everybody.